I now hand it over to our lovely Selena. Enjoy.
Thank you, Sandra, for that lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Selena Edlas, Educational Technologist at the Centre for Teaching and Learning. So today I am going to be taking you through Ventus, the new accommodations portal for instructors. So any questions that you have as we move along, please put them in the chat. We will get to them all at the end. It's just easier to do them in one go and not kind of upset the flow. So I am going to hand over to Alan Jeans of, now my mind's going blank, of QSAS, who's going to do the introduction to Ventus.
All right, thank you, Selena, and thanks everyone for being here. We're really excited about Ventus. It's a great tool. The first thing that I'd say about Ventus, I'm going to go through a little bit of about Ventus, talk a little bit about some of the benefits that we're seeing on the instructor side, on the student side. But I think the first thing to mention about Ventus is that it is as it says there, Ventus is an accommodation management system at Queen's University, and that's the entire university. So whereas our previous accommodation management system sat within QSAS, and then students pulled letters of accommodations out and sent them out through various processes, this accommodation management system sits across the entire university and allows for portals for instructors, students, QSAS, a number of different stakeholders. It's been developed at Queen's. Collaboration of a lot of people came together on the project team and on the steering committee through ITS, Vice President of Teaching and Learning, QSAS, Exams Office, instructors. We've had student feedback as well. So we've really, myself as part of the project team, which included instructors and exams, have really been involved in gathering those requirements and those information from everybody across the university. And as I said earlier, stakeholder groups can log into their own portal. So students have a portal, instructors have a portal, central admins within the faculty have their own portal, QSAS has their own portal, and Exams Office has their own portal. And information is held within the system and is accessible to relevant stakeholders through the various portals. And so that gets rid of a lot of that, like I said, the pulling out of an LOA and emailing it. So a lot of that email traffic is going to be cut down because of the use of Ventus and the introduction of Ventus. Selena, on to the next one. So for students, as I said, here's what it looks like for students. So they're able to go in and upload the required documentation for their accommodation. And so that's the first step that students are going to take. As always, that's a common step with our last accommodation management system. They're going to apply their academic accommodation. So a little shift to the language, whereas we talked about sharing the letter of accommodation before. Now we're talking about applying academic accommodations. And that's because students can take different accommodations and apply it to the various different classes as they feel the barrier exists within that class. Select which course they would like classroom accommodations applied to, as I just mentioned. View details of their accommodation arrangements for assessments, including location, date, and time. So students see a lot more information as to that helps them to guide what they need to do and what their process looks like, including location, date, and time, right within the system of all exams. And allows them to connect with instructors and support staff regarding their accommodations. They can communicate right within the system as well, which is a really fantastic thing, cutting down on those emails. For instructors, view students register with QSAS in your class. So right within the system, instructors or faculty admin, seeing the students within that particular class that have accommodations, you can break it down by accommodation as well. You want to know how many students have 50% extra time on an exam. You can break that down and see exactly how many students in your class see that. Add assessments, assessments requiring accommodations. Those are the ARAs for both paper assessments and online assessments. I know Kyla and Carly are going to talk a little bit more about that after me. Edit assessment details and upload assessment documentation, so you can do that again right within the system, and it's already connected with the exams office, and displays accommodations for individual assessments. And so you're seeing all of that, all that information in there. That's a little very, very brief, very, very quick overhaul of what students are seeing and what instructors are seeing. So I'll hand it over now, I think, to Selena.
Yeah. So I'm going to just show you basically where you can log into Ventus, and also the Ventus support website, and also how to get access to Ventus, or how to get co-instructors and TAs access to Ventus. So first of all, I'm going to just get the PowerPoint out of the way. And first of all, I want to point you to the Ventus supports website. So this is located at queensu.ca/Ventus-support. Currently, there is only one page there. We are working on the documentation. We are working on how-to videos. You can see, for those of you that know the OnQ support site, it's very similar to the OnQ support site. We've got the for student side and for instructors, and then coming down, how to get help. So the way to get help with Ventus, for students, we ask them to contact QSAS directly. So you can see right on the support webpage, there is a link for students to email QSAS if they have any issues with any of their accommodation or their application. And then for instructors, the Centre for Teaching and Learning is going to be supporting Ventus. So we're not going to be asking people to submit tickets to the IT support desk. You can come directly to the Centre for Teaching and Learning. For non-urgent issues, or to book an appointment, we ask you to use the help form. So there's a link to a help form. But for urgent issues, you can either direct message Carla Coleman or myself through Microsoft Teams, or you can even call us on the by phone. Seems very old-fashioned to say by phone right now. We're always on Teams, so we're usually, that's really the fastest way to get hold of either of us. But like I say, there are multiple options. And obviously the support site has a direct link to the Ventus portal. When you click this link, you get taken to the Ventus landing page. And this is how everyone can log in. So you can see the students, you can direct students here. They can log into the student portal to start their application with QSAS, or to go in as a returning applicant. We have a link for instructors and other authorized users. So if you have a TA in your class, they're going to log in through this instructor portal. Now, how do you get your TAs access to Ventus? So as a primary instructor or an instructor of record in PeopleSoft, you will automatically have access to your course in Ventus. So if you are the instructor of record and you can't see your course in Ventus, go back to your departmental admin person and make sure that they add you as the instructor of record in PeopleSoft. If you are co-teaching and you want to add other instructors, or you need to add your TAs to your course so that they can have access, there is a form right here that you can click to request access for your TAs or co-instructors. So there's just a few questions to fill in. You're basically authorizing access. If you are what's considered a central administration person. So that's someone who is a staff member within a department or faculty who needs access to multiple courses in your department. Then you would request access using this form here, Ventus Permission for Central Admin, and then we ask that someone approves your application. So that may be the head of your department, it could be the dean of your faculty. So a different form for access there. And that would allow you to see, you know, all the courses in your faculty. So if you were in history and you need to see every history course in Ventus, that's the way we would give you access. So permissions. So as an instructor, you're going to click this link to log into Ventus. And when you click that link, the first thing you're going to see is the class list, okay? So you're going to pick the current semester. Right now we're in spring and summer 22 and click go. And any course that you're the instructor of record in PeopleSoft, or you've been added to as an authorized user, you will see the courses listed below. So you can see I am enrolled in Anatomy 100 as an instructor, and so now I can go in and take a look at this class. So within this class, I can now see my students who have letters of accommodations. So you can see I've got some test students here. I can see the student name, student number, their status, and if I actually want to view their letter of accommodation, I can click on it. So it's not necessary for you to ask students to email their letters of accommodation to you. You can access them directly through the instructor portal. So a couple of things to point out on the letter of accommodation. You can see who their QSAS advisor is. Obviously, it's just me in this because it's a test example. So you can see who's been helping them at QSAS, and you can see their accommodations listed. So we have their assessment accommodations, okay? So this would be, you know, extra time, so they get an extra 30 minutes on every 1 hour on an exam or an assessment. This student needs a computer for all tests and exams. And you can see the start date and the expiration date of the accommodation. Underneath, we also have classroom accommodations. So any accommodations the student has been given. So in this example, we've got class material in advance and preferred seating near instructor within the classroom. So lots of information on the accommodation, and you can actually print it off. And again, so if I want to look at the students who have assessment accommodations in this class, I can see listed by accommodation all the students. So if I had multiple students that had extra time, 15 minutes per 1 hour, they would all be listed here. Because this is just a test environment, I've only got one student. But where you can see this coming in really handy is when you go into OnQ, say, for example, an online quiz or an online, midterm that you're doing in OnQ, in the quiz tool. You can see every student listed who has that specific accommodation, which makes it a lot easier for you to add those accommodations to OnQ. So they're broken down by type of accommodation. Again, classroom accommodations, you can see all the students who maybe need class material in advance or, preferred seating. And there's also the option to add practicum accommodations. So you can see one of the accommodations here is that the student is accompanied by a service animal to their practicum placement. So I'm now going to hand over to Kyla from the exams office. I think it's Kyla today, correct me if I'm wrong. And she's going to show you how to add an assessment to Ventus that you want students to be able to apply their accommodations to. I'm going to stop sharing.
All right. So my name is Kyla. I'm with the exams office. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I've been having some trouble with sharing lately. I just wanted to make sure. All right, so to pick up where Selena left off, I'm going to show you how to add assessments. So there's two different types. There's delivered by exams office. These are paper-based assessments that we'll be actually administering in person. And then there's scheduled by exams office. So these are online exams. So basically the difference is for paper-based, we'll be handling everything. We'll be providing the proctors, we'll be providing the tests, rooms, everything will go through us. And the only thing that y'all have to worry about is actually adding the assessment and giving us the assessment when the time comes. For scheduled by exams office, this just means that you're doing an online exam, so Examity, a quiz on OnQ, something like that, but you still want us to make sure that the accommodations are handled. So if a student has something like no evening exams, we'll go in and we'll move that exam to the next recommended time. That's in line with our questions, but we won't actually administer it. For final exams, make sure you actually submit them through here. We won't be processing them through, like, you won't be able to add them through the assessments here. We'll add them in for you and handle everything. But for today, I will concentrate on like quizzes and midterms, and I'll show you how to add an assessment delivered by the exams office. So all you're going to do is click this blue button here. And the nice thing about Ventus is if you want to copy it, prior assessments over, you can. You just pick the one that you want to copy, and it automatically fills in all the information for you. For this example, though, I'll pretend I've not added any other assessments. I'm just going from scratch. I'm going to choose the type. So it's going to be a quiz or a midterm. Let's say it's a quiz. It's going to be 30 minutes. And because we have a 2-week limit or a deadline when it's time it's going to be added into Ventus, right now it's telling me the earliest date I can add for is June 14th. But let's say it's on June 17th. I want it to be at noon, so you can either type it in or you can use these buttons. And it's going to be paper-based because it is, again, delivered by exams office. This box down here, you're going to have to check it off every time, but it basically just says that you're responsible for sending us the assessment materials. It just means we need the test. You can either drop it off at the office like you guys have always done in the past, or you can email it to us, or I'll show you in a moment, you can upload your file to Ventus. It's super easy. We've had instructors do it already this semester and no one's had any issues, so it's been working pretty well. So now I'm just going to hit it. And this is going to take me to the next page here, which is the page where you actually, oh, actually, no, it's not. It's going to do it here. So if I click on Delivered by Exams Office, it's going to show me all the assessments I have right now. So I just added this one for the 17th. Right under here, it says incomplete. So I haven't done everything I need to do for this assessment to take place. So at this point, as an instructor, my duty to make sure that this assessment can take place is to click on Edit/Upload here. Once I do this, it'll take me to this page. This is just all the information that the exams office might need. So for example, for printing instructions, let's say I want it to be single-sided, not stapled for whatever reason. I would put it here, and then I can make sure that well, the exams office knows how to print it. For extra information, I can put, like, let's say it's a German exam, I can say comes with a listening component. I would put my instructor contact information. Secondary contact information is if you have a TA or a department admin that you want us to be able to reach during the exam, you would put them in here. It's not required, it's optional, but sometimes people want their TAs to be on hand. For material required, So answer booklets will provide, those are the blue exam booklets that you've probably seen with most exams. If you decide you want it, we'll get those for you. For Scantrons, they're provided by the instructor. So if you want those, you'll click yes, and then you'll have to drop them off at the office. You can also send us an email. We do have some left over from finals here, but most of them we don't have just laying around. For allowed aids, if you click yes on each of them, it's going to have you select what kind of aid it is. So for calculator, you can have the Casio. For formula sheet, if it's included with the assessment, it's just stapled at the back. Notes, textbooks, and anything else that they might have. So I know for chemistry, they sometimes have molecular models. So from here, you can submit the assessment details. It'll tell you that they've been successfully updated, and then you can text that out. Now, this is just to give us the details. We haven't actually received the exam yet. So from here, what you can do, if you have the assessment ready at the time that you do this, you can upload a file. This is super easy. All you have to do is hit file, and then you can just select whatever you want to upload for your test, and you can select if it's a supplement or a replacement, or it could just be a new document, and any comments that you want us to have. From there, you just upload, and then we'll have the file on our end, and we'll be able to provide it to the students when the time comes. Again, like for CrowdMark, some people find it easier to just print them off and bring it into us. Sometimes people just like to email. Totally up to you. This is super easy though, and the instructors who've used it so far have really liked it. So I've filled out all the details. So now if I go back to my main instructor portal here, and I click on our delivered by the exams office, it'll say complete. So there's nothing else you have to do except for provide that assessment copy. But right now, I don't have any students who are actually taking the exam. So if I click on here, it'll say no students have confirmed participation with accommodations for this assessment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pop this open here. And I'm going to confirm what the student is going to do on their side. See if I stop hitting the wrong button. There we go. So on the student side, they'll get an email automatically telling them that a new assessment requiring accommodations has been added. This will go to their email, and they can just click on the link that takes them to Ventus, and they'll be able to confirm their accommodation. So it's actually a lot easier than their system. So EASE wouldn't automatically notify them. They would have to go in and physically request their assessments. But once you add an assessment in here, they automatically will get that email, and we're finding that students are really active, and they're really starting to confirm their accommodations like way earlier than they have in the past. So on the student side, I can see that I have to confirm this assessment. I'm just going to go in and respond here. So I can just confirm that I am using assessments. And now if I go back to our instructor page and refresh it, there, I should be able to see that the student has confirmed participation. So this will show you all the accommodations. It'll show you all the students. And as our office touches it, it will show the date and the location. Process for the online is basically the exact same as the process for in-person, except there's a few more options for you to fill out. So let's say I have a weekly quiz that I want to do. I'm just going to add, it's 10 minutes. It's available 8 in the morning. I'm not using remote proctoring because I'm not using Examity or ProctorTrack, but I do have a window of access. So they have it available for 24 hours. Just click I understand. So for online ones, this is a little different. It doesn't say you have to provide the material to us. It just says that you're responsible for implementing accommodations, and then submit. So super easy. Basically the same deal as the paper-based one. Now I can go in and I can edit it. And if I need to change anything, I can. So we don't need any further details from you for that. So basically, once you've added it in this main assessment portal here, you're good to go. We'll touch the students and make sure that everybody's got their accommodations correct, and they will show up here. But you don't really need to do anything else on your end. So that's basically the rundown on adding assessments. I will pass it back over to Selena, and I guess we'll answer. We'll probably do it as a group just so we can make sure that everybody gets the right information.